Hi everyone, I'm Dio,
And I'm Blade.
and welcome to the TechArk Deep Dive, where we discuss and break down everything related to tech, AI, and digital marketing. And today we're going to talk about the witch hunt of AI, specifically about M dashes and everything around that. So Blade, what are your thoughts about this?
Yeah, I think it's funny to see people spend countless hours trying to pinpoint and pick out if they think someone has written something with ChatGPT, all because of an M dash.
Sure.
It's really funny to see people play kind of the tone police, as we call it, over a tiny little symbol that's been around for quite some time. It's not new from AI.
Definitely. For me, it's the same. So as the social media person or the content specialist, it's very interesting to see other digital marketing experts and content specialists be like, well, that's AI because of like an M dash. And it's like, I remember using M dashes years ago. I mean, as I always say, if I see maybe more than 5 M dashes in a paragraph, maybe there could be a little bit of AI there. And I know a lot of people, and I've seen a lot of posts where people are like, remove M dash, and they put it on caps lock because they don't want nothing to be generated with an M dash, when in reality it's just something that's part of our grammar and that has always existed. So to remove that validation of someone's work and be like, well, you have an M dash, and automatically assume it's ChatGPT, it's a little bit crazy to me, because how do we know this? And then I also connected to universities, seeing all these videos from high school students and university students where they're getting F's on their paper because of an M dash. I'm like, I remember being required at some point to learn how to use an M dash properly, and it's just crazy to me to see how everybody is talking about this and just automatically saying ChatGPT or it's AI. So yeah.
Yeah, and it goes way beyond just the M dash, right? I think that's the easy one for us to spot. But, even when it comes to, teams that may not even be leveraging AI to generate, say, social posts or imagery for social posts, I see people in the thread that are posting comments saying, this is AI slop. And then that team's response is, we didn't use AI at all for this.
Yes.
And I think that point, that really points out or points to kind of the era we're in, which is, one of accusing humans of being algorithms. So everybody's stepping in, they're trying to figure out and navigate what's real, what's not. And I think what really hurts teams at large is, the entire purpose of adopting AI tools and workflows is to be more efficient. And, teams are now finding themselves spending time, finding all and replacing all M dashes because they don't want to accidentally be perceived as being AI slop. And so they're actually inefficient. There's inefficiencies from having to do that find and replace, whereas leaving those M dashes would have been perfectly fine. So I think it's really, critical for teams to decide together what the right amount of AI usage is and what the perception is that they're okay with.
Yeah, and stepping a bit away from the M dash, I feel like emojis is also falling in that category slowly. I personally love the sparkling like stars emoji, and now I'm terrified to use it because it's like, well, it's AI, or if there's a rocket, it's AI, and it's like, it's an emoji. Why can't we, just use it? So now it's also seeping into this other area where it's not just M dashes, it's also like, well, you use this emoji and that screams ChatGPT, and I'm like, what are we doing at this point? It's an emoji. Like, how are we going from a thumbs up or a rocket or my personal favorite, the little sparkles, is now like AI fully? Like, how is AI gonna know my experience or write about this? So it's very interesting just to see that shift of a couple years ago where maybe we were using emojis all the time, or maybe we were using M dashes for social posts, and now it's automatically AI, and we have to almost defend ourselves or prove that we're not using AI because it's deemed not correct, which is very interesting. I mean, I will continue using my M dash for sure. I'm like, let me put it right here just for it to make sense. I've had people though, and I do want to ask you about this. I've had people ask me or tell me like, oh, we don't want to use M dash because of accessibility. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Well, I think accessibility matters, and I think it matters at varying degrees depending on the intended or expected audience. We want to be inclusive and accessible by anyone and everyone, but especially, asking ourselves, how does this align to our audience, and how are we going to be perceived as authentic? So, I think for your team, if you're listening, if your team does value accessibility at the highest degree, you do want to question every character on the screen in terms of visual, accessibility. So, maybe using an M- here and there is fine. Maybe too many is too much. So it's just choosing the right balance, like always.
I agree. And definitely at the end of the day, they're here and they have their purpose, so everybody's gonna keep using them. It's not something that's gonna ever stop, and in a couple of years it's are we really going to continue being well, this is an M-, or are we just gonna go and be let's remove M- completely from our grammar and never use it when typing? So it's very interesting to see this shift, and I feel like it's more of adjusting and seeing how times are changing, and just accept that, M- are part of our everyday lives at this point.
It makes me think about all of the performances that have happened in the world where somebody says that was too perfect. That must have been lip sync because of the perfection. And it's really difficult, I think, for teams to realize that their perfection can now be misinterpreted as being 100% AI. And so I think, don't sacrifice your own perfection that you're striving for purely to try and overcome this false perception, this false, AI police narrative that's at play. I think, stick to the script of what your team has as far as its own expectations of the quality of output. And if M-dashes, fall into that lineup, then so be it. They have a place. They belong.
For sure, without a doubt. So, will you be using M-? Will you fully be removing it from every single post that you ever make, every blog? Or are you okay with it and just accept that, M- are here and have always been? Let us know in the comments, and we hope to hear more from you. Thank you. Thank you, Blade.
Thanks.